Hey, what's up out there? Let's take a look at Blue Loyal Raptor and his partner Owen, and we're going to build a deck because that's what bros do. They build decks for each other. No, I've got a Patreon, and my kind patron, Kawaii Boy Toy, has a request, and that's what we do on the Patreon, dude. We take requests. If a bro has a deck he wants built, we get the team of engineers together, we get the brain trust, and we squat up and build the deck, man. So check it out. We have all kinds of early videos on there, ad-free. We got bros in the chat. We got Q&A. You want to ask me about a card, go nuts. You want to ask me about my OnlyFans, brother? Let's go. So we got these two cards, Blue Loyal Raptor and Owen Grady, Raptor Trainer. Now I know nothing about Jurassic Park lore. Is this a boy and his dog type relationship? You know, are they lovers? The forbidden dance of love in the Cretaceous period? Or is it something darker? Owen Grady says to Blue, "Hey man, you been there for me through thick and thin. I need a favor." Blue says, "I'm listening, bro. What's up?" Owen pauses. Takes a sip of his Monster Energy drink, stares long and hard into the night. "Blue, I want to kill my wife." Whoa, wait a second, dude. That got too dark. It's probably like he trains raptors and Blue is his bud. Check out this card, man. Owen Grady, Raptor Trainer, 1 red and a green for a legendary creature, Human Soldier Scientist. It's a 3/2, has partner with Blue. Has tap, put your choice of a menace, trample, reach, or haste counter on target dinosaur. Activate only as a sorcery. Now he partners up with Blue Loyal Raptor. 2 green and a blue for a legendary creature dinosaur. It's 5/4. For each kind of counter on Blue Loyal Raptor, each other dinosaur you control enters the battlefield with a counter of that kind on it. So in this deck we kind of have this very clear play pattern. Get Owen out there, suit up Blue, and play dinosaurs. Easy enough. There are fantastic dinosaurs in these colors. We're going to highlight a few, but I wanted to make this video more about my approach to deck building and what makes a fun deck. First off, I take a look at some corner cases. Are there ways to get unique counters on Blue besides what Owen's doing out there? We're talking about shield counters, trample counters, Do we want to include a +1/+1 counter sub-theme? Because Blue counts those as well. My dude gave me a $250 budget to work with. Now when you're looking at weird counters, this guy comes up. Scavenge Brawler, 6 generic mana, artifact creature construct, it's a 4/4. Has flying, vigilance, trample, and lifelink. Has 5, exile it from your graveyard, choose target creature, put 4 +1/+1 counters, a flying counter, a vigilance counter, a trample counter, and a lifelink counter on that creature. Activate only as a sorcery. Now we can plop this guy out there, go nuts that way. Wait for him to die. He's going to die eventually. It's a decent include even if we don't have ways to get him into the graveyard. You also have cards like Titanoth Rex, has cycling. Discard this card, draw a card, and when you cycle it, put a trample counter on target creature you control. Decent card, also a dinosaur. Now we also have Christina Ricci over here. She has flash, hexproof. When it enters the battlefield, put a hexproof counter on target creature. Then move any number of counters from among creatures you control onto that creature. You also have this guy, the Titan of Industry, 7 mana, creature elemental, reach, trample, 7/7. When this guy enters the battlefield, choose 2. Destroy target artifact or enchantment. Target player gains 5 life. Create a 4/4 Rhino Warrior, or put a shield counter on a creature you control, man. Love this card. How about this guy with his twin staffs of power? You got Spectacular Showdown. 1 and a red for a sorcery. Put a double strike counter on target creature, then goad each creature that had a double strike counter put on it this way. Also has Overload. This is an interesting card. Almost better to just target Blue and get double strike counters on all subsequent dinosaurs. But that's about it for funny counters on the Blue. Basically, we are relying on Owen to get him haste, trample, and menace, which happens pretty fast. So at this point in the deck building process, I start to think about how we win. And that's with big old creatures, brother, big dinosaurs. So getting them bigger with +1/+1 counter seems like a fine idea. But we have our pillars of ramp, draw, and synergy. We want to cross as many pillars as we can, so check this guy out. Runati the Behemoth Caller, 2 and a green, legendary creature, cat shaman. It's a 1/3. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana value 5 or greater, that creature enters the battlefield with X additional +1/+1 counters on it, where X is its mana value -4. Creatures you control with 3 or more +1/+1 counters on them have haste. Has tap, add green. It's a little mana dork. So this doesn't hit Blue, but it makes our bigger dinosaurs even bigger and hastier. Now at a certain point in the game, you're going to get bored wipe. People are going to start taking out your commanders, so you want an alternative strategy. Runati makes a great replacement general. But what about Rishkar the Pima Renegade? 2 and a green, legendary creature, elf druid, it's a 2/2. When it enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each of up to 2 target creatures. Each creature you control with a counter on it, any counter, has tap add green. This guy can hit blue, also makes mana. And probably one of the best dinosaur mana dorks out there, Gwenna Eyes of Gaia. 2 and a green, legendary creature, elf druid scout, it's a 2/3. Has tap, add 2 mana in any combination of colors. Spend this mana only to cast creature spells or activate abilities of a creature or creature card. Whenever you cast a creature spell with power 4 or greater, put a +1/+1 counter on Gwenna and untap it. Since we have a little room in the budget, Gwenna slots in there nicely, man. And of course you have the Kami of Whispered Hopesies in there. We have a couple ways to generate +1/+1 counters in addition to Rishkar, and this has a nice hardened scales effect, just like the Ozolith Shattered Spire. 1 and a green, legendary artifact. If 1 or more +1/+1 counters will be put on an artifact or creature you control, that many +1/+1/+1 counters are put on it instead. 1 and a green tap, put a +1/+1 counter on target artifact or creature you control, activate only as a sorcery as cycling for 2. So listen man, we got 17 or so sources of ramp and about 15 cards that deal favorably with counters. At this point we have a solid creature based deck with themes delving into counters and lots of ramp. We have 2 solid, relatively cheap commanders too. At this point I start thinking about card advantage. You know, in these colors, with this deck makeup, we want to be drawing cards when creatures ETB. So of course you have Beast Whisperer, Soul of the Harvest, and Garruk's Uprising. They're all pretty good. The Uprising is really great with dinosaurs. We also want to look into creatures within our tribe that draw cards. Like this little guy, the Runic Armasaur. You know, he's a cute little fella. Whenever an opponent activates an ability of a creature or land that isn't a mana ability, you may draw a card. We also have Curious Altasaur out there. Whenever a dinosaur you control deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. That's the name of the game right there, dude. Earthshaker Dreadmaw. This guy isn't quite Colossal Dreadmaw, right? That's a meme, brother. How about Karuga, the Macro Sage, the Sage of Meatball Sandwiches? This guy's 3 and 2 hybrid green-blue for a legendary creature, Dinosaur Hippo. It's a 5/4 with Companion, but we don't care about that. When this guy enters the battlefield, draw a card for each other permanent you control with mana value 3 or greater. Watch out for this fat idiot. Dude, he's coming in hot. If it's just Owen and blue out there, you're drawing a couple cards. Then we have some non-traditional card advantage, cheating things out, getting random permanents out there. A Luna Apex of Wishes, 2 green, blue, and a red legendary creature, Beast Elemental Dinosaur. It's a 6/6. Has mutate for about 6 mana and some combination of colors that I'm not going to read. Flying Trample. When this guy mutates, exile cards from the top of your library until you exile a non-land permanent card. Put that card onto the battlefield or into your hand. Luna is a weird dinosaur. Now if it mutates onto something, it isn't entering the battlefield. Just FYI. But it is a fantastic card. Former President Obama of the East Tree. I couldn't resist sticking this guy in there, dude. Whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control, if it wasn't put onto the battlefield with this ability, you may put a permanent card with equal or lesser mana value from your hand onto the battlefield. This is just a great way to cheat stuff out there. Trumpeting Carnosaur, it's like $1.50, man. That Discover 5 is great. This guy is out there like Louis Armstrong playing his own damn horn, buddy. Itali, also the other Itali. These are just shoe-in cards for this deck. If I added any creature tutors, the big guy here would probably be the target almost every time. That ETB is just too good. The Primal Storm can get haste very easily in this deck too, and garners immediate value. I really like this card, the Bone Horde Dracosaur, 3 red creature, dinosaur dragon. It's a 5/5 with flying and first strike. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top 2 cards of your library. You may play them this turn. If you exile the land card this way, create a little 3/1 red dinosaur creature token. If you exile the non-land card, create a treasure token. Very cool source of impulse cards. Adds value no matter what you exile. Looks a little like Bronson Pinchot, if you know what I mean. And of course the Elvish Piper, 3 and a green, creature, elf, shaman. It's a 1/1 green and tap. You may put a creature card from your hand onto the battlefield. Very simple ability, man. Very underrated little elf shaman out there, especially if you're packing in a lot of big dinosaurs. You know, this thing's out there piping in the forests of Aberdeen or whatever. Beautiful card. And from here on out, it's just big, fat, wacky dinosaurs. I use Moxfield to build the decks I make and Scryfall to search up all the sweet dinos. We got a bigger budget so we can get whatever cards we want, brother. Dinos are a little pricier, but the most expensive in these colors is Vaultborn Tyrant, and it's comparatively cheap at about $23. One of the guiding principles I have for deck building when it comes to casual commander is the 75% deck. Basically, we aren't going full tutor and combo on turn 4. These aren't CEDH decks, but they are threatening, they generate value, they can win games at any table shy of CEDH. I also want my decks to be interactive, so that's what I built for my dude, Kawaii Boy Toy, my proud patron, and guess what, brother, I can do the same for you, so get on in there. I keep all my content free, and I appreciate all the support from the hyenas out there in the community. Thanks for all the vibes, brothers. We'll see you soon. Nikki G, signing off.